Okay.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Black Power Hour. I hope you can hear me out there, people. We have a very special in-house guest right now, Miss Nisa Wright.
Harper.
Miss Harper, Nisa Harper. I call her Nisa Wright Harper, okay?
Thank you.
She is one of the hottest new authors in the DMV. She's coming to us live in studio here in Southeast Washington, D.C. Yeah, we in the city, y'all. Okay, so please share the live, share the information. Can you hear me good? If you can hear me, let me know. Say, we hear you, boss lady. We hear you. We can hear you better with your microphone attached, but okay. How does that sound right there? Is that better? Can y'all hear us now? Okay, well, this is the first time I have had the opportunity to sit down and interview with Miss Nisa Harper, but I feel like I know her so well by reading her first, well, not her book, her like autobiography is Confessions of a Baby Mama. No more drama. Okay. I had to put it down and discipline myself, sister. I really did because I was like, God, your path has been so parallel to so many other women out here. So I'm just giving you the opportunity to introduce yourself and you tell your story, honey. Let's talk. Girl talk.
Okay, girl talk.
So, yes.
I wanted to say first, thank you.
Yes.
For having me on here, Janae.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Janny at first. For anyone watching, it's Janae.
That's right.
This is gonna be kind of off the cuff, like she said. Like we're just gonna talk. I love talking.
Great.
I do too. But I also love self-care and isolation and meditation. I also love quiet time. And I don't know where to start. She's gonna have to ask me questions because I can go on and on. She's trying to figure this out.
Yeah, but I have to do my technical stuff. Yeah.
To everyone listening, I would say that I always do this with everyone I'm a guest on. I would say that give more to the host, no matter who the host is. If you're inspired by somebody, don't wait until they're gone to give your flowers. Like even if it means just a random, like I said, this is off the cuff. Even if it means like a random, you want to send them $10 in Cash App. I've had a lot of people over the years say, how can I help you or do you need anything?
Right.
So I'm not offended by that. And I will tell them, but if it's somebody you love, let's say this. If it's somebody you love or somebody you're inspired by or somebody that really adds value to your day, just send them $5. Just send them $10. Just send them something. Words are good. Inspiration is good, but just send the money in. Black Power Hour, Black Business Matters, whatever the case is, authors, send the money in. It could be $2. Send it in. And so I'm gonna let her ask me questions because I can go on and on.
You can give your introduction however you feel like it. This is a candid interview. Like I said, your story is so parallel to so many other women's stories, and I really like to use my platform to just give people an opportunity to tell their story in their own words, because any famous author, they are very candid about their lives. You know, some of them are secret, some of them are very open. I mean, you're coming from a genuine place. You know, and it, like I said, it's so parallel to so many other women's lives. But what forced you into becoming a writer?
Okay.
What inspired you to become a writer?
Okay, thank you. So now I'm gonna flow with it. She set the tone. I'm gonna flow with it. What I tell my children, what I've grown to know as an adult woman is whoever God made you to be, whoever you call God, is who you are. Nobody can take that from you. Nobody can deliver it the way you deliver it. You could have 10 people with the same message and each one is going to give their own delivery. So I've always been a writer. I didn't call myself a writer, but I've always been a writer. I'm a singer. I'm a speaker. And believe it or not, I was the type of person, I didn't speak when I was younger. My mother would say, she would tell the doctors, she can talk, she can really talk. And whenever she would take me in, she said I wouldn't talk. Right. And I was raised primarily, we were raised, my mother was a single mom with 4 kids. And when I say single, let me clarify, we did have 3 stepfathers. I talk about that in my first book. All of my stepfathers I got along with, me, but I was the quiet child. So whatever they asked me to do or whatever, I did it. I really wanted to please them. And it wasn't no nasty stuff on them, but I really wanted to. But now my siblings, as we all know in the African American community, it was some challenges in the household with them stepfathers. Now my sister was gonna give it to you. And matter of fact, she promoted it with saying she ran away every stepfather. I said that to say that where I am today is, you wouldn't have known that like years ago. I really wouldn't talk unless you were close to me. I would observe them. So that helped me a lot in my journey of becoming an advocate, housing advocate, well-known housing advocate, public housing, learning the laws. And I loved housing. I love justice. I'm a Libra. I love justice. And I love seeing an underdog win. So, but I was the kid who was teased daily. I had a jerry curl, I had red glasses, I had braces, and we talking about all at the same time, baby. What you looking at now is not what was going on. But here's the thing, though. I had a lot of white friends. I had a lot of black friends. I had an Iranian best friend. I'm from Alexandria, Virginia, so that's why I was a mix like that. All of my friends were as goofy and different looking as I was. So I never felt, even at that time, I never felt like I had to change. But if you ever read my first book, I was growing up in a household. Yeah, my mom was a social worker. I'm a 4th generation college graduate. My grandmother went to college. My great grandmother went to college, graduated. But we were coming of age in the crack era, which is what I talk about in the first book. Right. And my mother was still a black woman who was going through her own journey where she had to raise these kids, but she was still looking for love. I didn't know that at the time, but looking back. Right. So therefore that impacted all of us. And again, I didn't have any creepy stepfathers, thank God. But we did have 3 stepfathers in a matter of 7 years. And what I talk about in my first book, what that taught me was, unconsciously what it taught me was, men don't stay, so do it yourself. They're not going to stay. And I did have a favorite stepfather that all my siblings be like, He left too, but he was my favorite. He doted on me. He paid me so much attention. He worked all the time. He was just so kind to me. And if I get emotional, like, it's cool.
This is girl talk.
Yeah, baby. It's girl talk.
You can have
my mom's family.
Have your say.
Looking back,
I got tissue.
Thank you. My mom's family. This is a good cry though. My mom's family loved me, and I'm not saying they didn't love my siblings, but because I was so quiet and so like wanting to do what everybody wanted me to do, I mean, I didn't know what it was like literally to experience the harsh world of the world until I became like a teenage girl. I mean, I was teased, but my mom's family was with all of us. Yeah. You could be anything, you could do anything. House, school, there wasn't conversation. There was no fights. They had them, but not around us. There was always positive. They always talked about politics, family. They never talked about love, but they talked about politics. So I grew up in that environment and education. No matter what you did, they constantly encouraged you about education, but they were so loving. Right. And if anybody reads my book or look at a lot of women in my era, the 40s, like you'll look and see that during that crack era, even my mother wasn't a crackhead. So many of us were impacted with the incarceration and the crack and the death that it impacted us. I had a thing.
Destruction of families.
Destruction of families. Strategic destruction. But for young Black girls and boys and Hispanic, you don't know that till you're in your like 40s and 30s and you really study that this was strategic. Right. So what you know ahead of time is you just going through it. Right. So I, like a lot of females, had a thing for hustlers because the truth is, I can just, don't worry, I can pick right back up. I'm going to drink this tea.
That tea, yes. That tea.
Wait, they can hear us?
Yeah, they can still.
Oh, well, I
didn't shut off. It's just going to sleep.
I would just say that a lot of us have the same stories, and I felt like even years ago, 10 years ago, when I first wrote this book, I felt like a lot of women in my generation, we talk about Sister Soldier, we talk about Mary J. Blige, we're talking about Janae, we're talking about my sister, we're talking about the women that you see today. We went through a lot of things. Some of us might have been close to DC. I was in Alexandria. Some of us might have been in DC. Some of us might have been in Compton. We might have been in Chicago. But the women in their 40s had to experience broken homes.
Yes, say that.
Very super strong mothers.
Yes.
Who were looking for men, but had to be strong.
Yes, and deal with what they got.
So what did they show us? They showed us
how to survive.
They showed us how to survive, but in the love area, not on purpose. They showed us, basically, they weren't trying to. They showed us, you don't need nobody. You can just do it yourself.
Yes.
Matter of fact, my mother's relatives, because I was the one that went to a 4-year college. My brother's a famous chef, and my sister has a podcast. Everybody has their own. I have another brother that is also in the restaurant industry. But if you look at our house growing up, not on the outside, on the inside, baby, we had the wildest house. My mother worked 40 plus hours as a social worker.
Wow.
Baby, you talking about a live home. But you wouldn't guess that. Our mother showed us, really honestly, without trying to, you don't need a nigga. Excuse the words. My mother would be like, oh my God, you used that word. They weren't trying to, but because they did the groceries, they did the laundry, they kept the lights on. Well, in my house, the lights were off sometimes. They kept the lights on, they worked, they encouraged you, they showed up to your events. You subconsciously learn as a Black female, I don't necessarily need a guy.
Yes.
But you need a guy. You want a guy. So you have these conflicting things as you're growing up as a young Black woman in urban America. You're kind of trying to find your way. And I like a lot of females because I was around drugs a lot. I was around, and I'm not ashamed of that. I had a thing, for drug dealers. And they didn't, you know what I mean?
They were plentiful in that.
Plentiful and fine and super fine. Let's talk about
they
that.
They were plentiful and very sexy.
I mean, people like to keep it on
quiet.
They were plentiful because if we talk about, if we talk about structural and then we talk about systematic, they're plentiful because if an entitled European world leads you to just find a way to make money, you're going to find a way to make money to eat. Everybody is going to eat.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you're Black, Armenian, you're going to eat. Food, shelter, and clothing are the top highest priorities for any person, any human, right? So, and it was fine, and they could dress. So, but and they know how to make money. Let's be real, their business, right? But I just wanted to say that in this day and age, I think that a lot of times I might be switching a little bit.
That's okay.
People look at the young people like they're so foreign to us, but we created the young people of today. They saw us, they saw our, cousins, brothers, so they just kind of added their own twist. And people look at it like they're so different. This new generation is so crazy. They're not crazier than we were. Matter of fact, we had more murders during when we was coming up. The thing is, we have social media, so you can see it now. It looks like it's more, but I think the root causes are still the same. If you have poverty, there are people in every group that are going to find a way to make money within that.
That's right.
If you have, we're talking about structural racism. They literally, and when I say they, it's not just white people anymore. It's not just European. Those in power literally try to and create laws to keep those with less money bound. So we're not talking about, people just want to be criminals. Let's be real. The grocery stores are terrible. The schools are terrible.
Right.
Drugs are abound. Addiction is abound. Right. So what do you think? Some people are going to sit there and just not make money? That doesn't make sense. No. Somebody's going to find an underground market.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make sense. So I just wanted to say my first book that Janae was talking about.
Poverty Pimps, right? That's
Poverty Pimps. And I think
that's what Sister Sparkle
Poverty Pimps. And then so I did so that book is based on mainly females and how to we got to really deal with the stuff that we grew up around that was painful, and our parents were in pain. Some of the fathers, a lot of the fathers of my era ran the F off. They ran off. Now, they didn't leave the community, started another family.
That's it.
But they ran. And so the women were forced to step up. So people say, oh, she's so strong, but she has high blood pressure.
Right.
She's strong because she has to be. But if the black man could understand, you don't have to ask her what she needs, baby. She needs you to come in and say, I'm gonna rub your feet. She needs you to say, I'm gonna put $20 towards it like this. She don't expect you to be like, yo, I'm gonna pay your whole rent for 6 months. Everybody's out here working, everybody's struggling. She doesn't expect that. She does expect you to not have 6 different homes. She does expect you. I mean, if you guys are together, I'm not talking about like, if you got like some situation, but the black woman needs to be nurtured. And that's what I've done for like the last year. I got back to like trying to find the little girl in me. Mm-hmm. So I'm very kind. Everybody knows me as kind. I'm very sweet, but I've been hurt a lot. You know what I mean? Again, if I cry, nobody should be embarrassed because I'm not embarrassed. Mm-hmm. But I've been hurt a lot. And I didn't think until this past year, the epidemic and some things I was going through with my kid's dad, I didn't realize I had lost the little girl. The little girl that my mom's family adored. My stepfathers adored me. Nobody never in my life from growing up never told me I couldn't do nothing. And I know so many people, adults my age, who were told they weren't shit. Yes. Who were told they were going to be nothing like their father, who had adults tell them. I was around when they told them that. Yes. You fast. You doing too much. Yeah. You doing too much. Yeah. You ain't gonna be nothing like your father. Ain't nothing. You gonna be just like so. That's foreign to me, right? And so this year, with the custody situation I was going through with my kid's dad, and I was so angry. I was so angry. Like, why is this happening to me? I don't mess with people like that. This and that. And God had to reveal to me, I got some things I need you to work on. You ain't healed from everything. Like you think because you're so nice, and I realized the little girl in me was still hurting. So my goal from here on out is to reclaim, restore, and come back to the little girl. The little girl, Nisa, is vulnerable. Yes. The little girl, Nisa, was very loved. The little girl, I'm not talking about like once I got into relationships. The little girl, Nisa, was always told she could be somebody. And that's what I'm on a mission to just teach other black women too, that it's okay if you want to just go outside for a walk. It's okay if you close the bathroom door. I have 4 kids. And you tell them, I tell my kids from early on, when I close this bathroom door, unless it's an emergency, don't come to me. Right. And they do what kids do, right? Knock. But guess what I would tell them early on? I'm not doing it. I would ignore them after a while because I said, what did I tell you? And I would ignore them because I had to teach them too. I had to teach them what I was teaching myself. I deserve time alone. Absolutely. I'm important. But make no mistake about it. I always wanted my kids, always wanted to be a mother, and I sacrificed everything. We've been homeless a few times. I sacrificed everything for my children and then rise again. So they come first. Absolutely. But I've realized what God had to show me like in the last year is that I guess I would say this. Black women, Hispanic women, white women, whoever. You deserve time to yourself. Yes. You give to your man, you give to your job, you give to your community, your church or masjid or temple. You deserve time to get with your girlfriends and just laugh. You deserve time to go see a play and laugh. Yes. You deserve time to get a massage. That's not luxury. You deserve it. Everybody gonna know. I've been saying this for years. You deserve a nanny if you got several kids. I ain't saying you can afford it yet. You deserve it. Right. Exactly. You deserve a guy that. Now remember, I'm saying these things right for myself. But I'm talking to.
And you are speaking so much into my spirit right now because with especially with everything that's going on with me right now, and I've been in therapy for the last 2 years.
God, yeah.
And I love my therapist. You know what I'm saying? He kept me grounded. He kept me just like, look, put Janae Earl first. Right. Put yourself first. You are not responsible for other people. You try to be the most responsible person you can, but you have no control over what other people do or how other people feel. Yeah. So stop self-mutilating yourself. But I think that's a toxic trait that I have for myself. That's why I was saying so much when I was reading your book that it just resonated with me. And it is so much in there. I'm like, I was reading, I was like, oh, I gotta put it down. I'm gonna be up all night long. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I just had enough time to scan through it. Right. And just tell you, I mean, this lady has her story is so similar to so many of us that are in our 40s. I'm Absolutely. 43.
Right. I'm 46. 46. Proud of that. Very
That's right.
Proud.
Me too. I'm proud to be 43. We look younger than some of these little young guys.
Well, that's just because they just gone through.
We've been through just as much as they've been through, but we don't look like that.
Yeah, but they probably didn't have those ancestors that was nurturing them like in our early years.
Right. So I always try to encourage the younger girls, that this is not it. Don't wear yourself out. Don't party so hard until you fall out. Like I was a 7-day-a-week party girl.
Yeah. And I was on the weekend. Before I had kids.
And right. Me too. Before I had kids. Right. And when you have children and you settle down, things change.
Well, if you
decide to go there,
if you've grown up around other women and men who change things, then that's normal for us, right? But for some of these younger women or women our age, they did not grow up around moms or aunties who slowed down. So therefore, they're repeating a pattern. Right. Some people call it generational curses, but it's a pattern. Mm-hmm. So you may have women who are our age that are still partying, and people might say, oh my God, they still partying. It's been 20-some years. But the thing is we all have patterns. Right. But if you don't know that pattern is really like kind of hurting you in the long run, you're not going to stop it. Now, your mama may say, girl, you need to slow down. Right. But if you don't know it, that woman is not going to, she's still going to be in the club. And girl, get out that club, go to a jazz lounge and sit down with them gold shoes. Yes. But, but if you don't know, you don't know.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Know. You all you know in your time is you need to seize this time to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't wait to get grown. How about you? You know what I'm saying? So I could go wherever I want to go in the world.
I mean, who didn't? And we thought the older people were just so old. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
oh my God, they don't know it. We never thought they had sex. We never thought they drank. We never. Oh my God, they do is go to church. Oh, get me out of here. Beat me up.
Right. This ain't no happening. Right. And see, I was raised in South Carolina, down south.
Right.
So, but my parents were from DC and Philly.
Okay.
So my dad was from Philadelphia and my mom was from DC. They met here in DC.
Okay.
I was actually born here. Okay. And then we moved down south. So I was the only one raised down south. My brother was raised up here in DC.
Okay.
And my sister lived here in DC as well.
And now you here. But you had that foundation, of course. But you had that foundation.
It's always been home for me. I never felt the South is just a little slow. It's a little different. But on the they quick to tell you business, quick to, jump into things. And me, I just was like, my mindset has always been city girl. Yeah. Like ever since I was little, I never wanted to be with the crowd, never wanted to do what anybody else wanted to do, Right. Just always doing something different. Girl, I used to ride motorcycles and everything.
I saw your pictures.
Yeah, but enough about me. Enough about me. Yeah. Let's get to your book, honey. That's what everybody want to hear.
So, it's important that they hear about you too. You know what I mean? Because we're still of the same generation.
Yes.
And speaking of the South, so my mother's mother and father kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with like Essex County, that whole Rappahannock is close to, they're from Tappahannock. So Tappahannock is where Chris Brown is from. I'm a big music fan. But it's Essex County. It's an hour away from
Virginia.
Richmond.
Yeah, okay.
And an hour away from Fredericksburg, each direction. Tappahannock is about as big as this one block. Okay, you go through it, you're through it. Yeah, but we spent, like most people of our generation, even though we were in Alexandria growing up, my mom was a single mom for the most part. We spent every summer with my mom's grandparents. Right. Now, looking back, my siblings, they were like, oh my God, I hated it. But for me, it was such an oasis. Wow. And it was such a getaway from
the norm.
Well, my mom was a single mom for the most part, and she was still trying to find her way. She was very stable, but she had, you know what I'm saying? We had a wild house. And so, like, for me, the type of child and personality I had, I needed stability. I didn't know it at the time. Right. So when I would go for the summer, it was like, you know, we had to go to church every Sunday. I love that. Yeah, we had to have the house clean. The lights were never off. Right. Dinner at a certain time. Right. I got to watch Dukes of Hazzard, believe it or not. My grandfather was the NAACP president of Tappahannock. Oh, wow. Dukes of Hazzard. Okay. But Dukes of Hazzard was his favorite show. I got to watch. So it was like, I guess if I could say for any parent out there now that has multiple kids, some kids need certain things, and some kids, my sister and brother didn't like it. But if you look at their personalities, you could see why they didn't like it. I needed that stability. They had a big bookshelf, like my mom always had a big bookshelf. That was big for me.
Reading.
I loved it. I could escape through reading, and they encouraged, like, I needed that routine. When my brother and sister felt like they was in jail, they would be like, "Oh my God!" Yeah, but I needed that, and so it's like it's important, even in this day and age, even with all the murders and raising your kids in the city. It's important that parents understand, all of us understand, that our kids are different with different personalities, and that's been very challenging for me as a mom. To kind of
right, we have to treat our children like I only have 2 children. Yeah. So they're 5 years apart. Yeah. You know, oh boy, what call it this time?
I'm listening.
You know, they're 5 years apart, and they are just
night and day.
You know, night and day. They're night and day. My daughter is more I'm listening. Relaxed and let me chill.
Your brother's more amped up. Your son is more amped up. I'm gonna say something. Wild thing. Okay.
He's a Scorpio, and she's an Aquarius.
Oh yeah. That explains it all.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's
Scorpios.
Anything else you need to say? You know,
the Scorpios need light. They on the move. They're like Geminis. Right. They're like. They on the move. They gotta catch the excitement. They'll slow down later.
They'll come back. They'll come around. Later. That's how you gotta treat them.
Yeah.
They'll come around eventually.
But they love hard. They love very, very, and they hate hard.
Oh, they hate with a vicious passion.
Right.
You know.
So let me ask you something.
Yeah, go ahead. So we're talking. This
girl talk. What would you say to like other authors, or even if they're not in the DMV, they could be in Philly, they could be in Compton. Like, what would you say to them? Why should they be on your show? Because I'm having a good time. So what would you say?
I would say you can come on my show and genuinely be yourself, speak your truth. We're supporting Black business owners, because being an author, you have a business to run.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
You have to be more. You get more exposure. Yeah. More exposure helps you sell more books. Yeah. I have a vast network. Right now we're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and I think Twitter or somewhere like that. Okay. So I had to try to line it up. But basically the more exposure you have and the more you build up your portfolio, the more successful you'll be. And now in this day and age, like you said, with the COVID pandemic, we're not gonna claim it as you know, or whatever. Right. But as the pandemic went on, we had to develop different ways to stay occupied. We had to develop different ways to make money, and different ways, you know, just think outside of the box. Yeah. You know, fortunately, my business partner and we had already had this platform of Black Business Matters in 2018. Okay, so we just relaunching it now, but we were already here. We already knew what we wanted to do. We had already been chopping at the bit, trying to develop some kind of program or flat platform that we could use.
Right.
So when the opportunity came, there they go.
The opportunity came.
Yeah, the opportunity came, and we just started. Like I had my own. I've been in radio. I was in radio. I did radio in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I did radio in South Carolina, and not just like 2 or 3 years. I'm talking about 10, 15 years
You already
of
have the
being in the
expertise.
radio. Yeah. My dad was a DJ, and he would always let me get behind the microphone and talk. And
so you've been doing it more than 20 years. Like
that's
30
what I said.
years.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
43.
30,
So I know as long as I was 3 years old, I have been talking, like a regular person. And having something to say, and just just genuinely having my say.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like you say, the way you grew up the household, it was never what you couldn't do. It was always you can do anything you want to do if you put your mind to it. That's
and
what
everybody
my daddy
does not.
say.
Here's the thing that I had to learn as
an
adult. I didn't know it when I was younger because my friends had the same thing. So as I got to be older and traveled a little bit more, got around, like everybody does not grow up with that. So imagine us having like a 15-year lead on certain people as far as confidence, right?
Yeah.
Even though I was quiet, it was still kind of like, yeah, I'm a nerd, I'm a geek, I got red glasses, I got braces and a jerry curl, but I was comfortable in who I was. And my girlfriends were just as geeky.
Yeah.
White girlfriends was geeky, black girlfriends, Iranian. So, but if we think about something, if we think about people who grow up with negative talk because their parents are negative, think about it. They have to gain that self-confidence. They have to gain that self-love and learn how to do that. But let me ask you another question. This is gonna be random. Okay. What's your favorite food?
Oh, honey, my go-to save my life is pizza.
Oh my God, yeah. You're so American.
Yes, I'm so American. I like Jamaican food as well. I like jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken is my favorite.
What you eat growing up?
Growing up, I ate soul food. Macaroni, cheese, collard greens, green beans, cornbread. Girl, I just told my business partner, I said, I haven't had a decent meal since my mama died. Definitely have not had a decent meal. I need a good cake. She made the good homemade cakes, all gooey and sticky. And I'm a foodie. I'm definitely a foodie.
Yeah, and so is my
sister. I'm 100% a foodie. That's why hey, keep hope alive, y'all.
Right. Okay.
But I'm definitely a foodie. So yeah, that's it. I wanted to ask you some random questions too.
Well, wait, I got another one.
Go ahead.
What would you tell? So you have the daughter. I have the daughter, both teens. What would you say to any young girls who come across us as far as listen? They like boys or girls, whatever. The hormones raging.
Right.
Social media popping. Everybody looks perfect on social media. What would you tell young girls of any color? What would you tell them about their self-esteem and boys and just who they are right now? Like the 14, 15, 16 year. What quick advice would you give them now?
I would say know your worth. And then that's a large, huge statement, but one day you'll understand. But I would say know your worth and know your value.
How should they learn their value at 14, 15?
They need to know that what they have and what they possess is sacred.
Yeah.
And once they give it to somebody, they can't take it back.
Can't take it back, baby. Sometimes we don't want to take it back.
Sometimes you just want to have it. I just had this, and I don't want to talk about my daughter business, but we had to have this. Are you ready for birth control conversation?
Yeah,
so you ready
That's
to have
real.
that? And
a lot of parents have to go through
totally surprised at her response.
Yeah.
Because she was like, you know what, Mom, you don't know how many guys that I have cut off because they wanted to pressure me for sex. Yeah. And I said, I'm not ready for that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm look, okay, you're not fooling me, little girl.
No, because I was close to I was close to 16 when I lost my virginity.
Right.
And I can say that because and I know his, I know everybody's name, but he was just, to me, I mean, that's your
thing
first.
in the world.
First of all, he was fine, baby.
Right.
And he could dress. Now let's get it clear.
Okay. Yeah.
He sold drugs too.
Right.
But
same here.
right. But I told you I gotta.
Yeah.
That's been part of my story. But my thing is like, it's so interesting because growing up in a household with two brothers, but one is gay, but two brothers. There's what I experienced, I can't speak for everybody. There's a very different message given to Black girls and then given to Black guys. I don't want to say boys, but young men that are becoming. I have 3 sons and a daughter. I originally wanted all girls, but God was like, no, I got something for you to learn. So there's a message that was given in my generation, like guys could roam, they could do whatever. But if a female, you don't ever. My cousins used to always be like, you don't ever want to be like I had these older cousins. You. Oh my God, my sister and her friends would be like, we're gonna punch your teeth out if we ever hear. So it was this fear almost of like being considered out, and I carried that throughout my life. Like it was just like, oh my God, that's the worst thing. But at the same time, I saw, and I'm gonna flip it to you. At the same time, I saw guys being encouraged they could stay out. Oh, they could stay out all night in my household. Like they could do whatever, have girls in. But for the females, it was like, no, be pure. But those guys were with somebody. My brother was like with somebody's daughter. So how was it for you growing up? That was really my whole point.
For me growing up, I had my big brother as my protector.
Yeah.
And he wasn't happy. Okay. He told all the boys in the neighborhood,
stay away from my daughter.
My sister, I'm kill you. Right. You touch my sister, I'm gonna kill you. So I held out for a very long time. Right. You know. Or whatever, but my first experience was not good at all.
Oh, okay.
I was not in love. It was a hard crush. You know what I'm saying? A hard crush, but never involved with the person. And it did shape me and my emotions.
Cause that's your first.
Lot. Yeah, and then to be rejected and afterwards, and then embarrassed.
Right.
Because you don't know what you're doing for real.
No,
you know,
not at all.
Here you are giving it up. Don't even really like the boy. Don't even.
I
liked him,
so
but he didn't like me as much.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't like me as much. He thought I was just one of the loose little neighborhood girls.
Yeah.
Because that's all I hung around. That's all I had. You know. At that time, this was how old was I? I was in high school.
Yeah.
I was.
And you know one thing about guys that I've learned throughout the years, even then, they know which females. They watch. They know which females
they know which ones out there doing
and which ones they see it as a conquest too. The one that nobody has been with, the one that's smart. You know what I mean? The one that's they see it like, oh, I can get that.
I can get that. It was a competition.
Yeah.
Everybody, because I was like my daughter, I was in a nice little shape, and I didn't realize it. I kept saying, "Why are these boys following me? Like I'm just naive and shit." And then look, turn around, and I saw a picture of me. I was like, "Oh my God!" I had a killer nice little shape, you know, big old butt, bow legs, you know, and I was, you know, just running around. But I didn't have that image. I was green. I was like, I don't know what they want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just follow me around all the time, carrying my books to school, to class, and everything. I had a whole little thing going on. Whole roster, whole team.
I love that.
I used to call myself a female pimp, girl. I was like pimping them because I wasn't sleeping with them, but I was anything I needed. Janae, come here. Can I get $1? Can I get this?
That's funny.
Can you carry my books? I had one guy in high school. I never forget. He carried my books every day. Every day he would pick up my books.
But did you appreciate him? Because I had a guy like that in college.
God, I loved him.
And I thought he was so corny.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like,
he was a whole.
He was from DC too. His name was Craig, and I don't remember his last name now, but he at the time. This is wild because at the time. Craig from DC. This is when I was at St. Paul's first. That's my family school, and it's closed now, HBCU. But Craig used to carry my books, and I used to think because I was used to dealing with like rougher guys. They weren't necessarily rougher with me, but you know the guys that all the girls. I like that type of dude. So I sound funny.
I like popular guys.
Yeah. Don't we all?
But in secret, I never wanted to be the girlfriend. I want to be.
Oh, you didn't? No. Me? I want to be.
No, baby. I got more benefits by just being quiet and being like, y'all think y'all got him, but I got him for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think you got it going on. That's why they be like, you boss lady something else, and you be done lost your man messing with me.
Because you're going to come in undercover.
Right.
They're not going to see you coming.
Right. Because, down, that's why I said down south, anytime, everything I did was magnified. Oh, my God. If I start talking to somebody
was talking about it.
Friend, Janae so and so. She from Draper Line. She did it. She did it. South Carolina. That was the name of the place, my neighborhood.
Okay.
And I used to be like, oh my God, I can't have no peace. And then again, I'm a Taurus. I'm a private person, really. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I like my privacy. I want to enjoy you.
Too.
I don't want nobody saying, oh, Louis,
But I also be like, I'm a Libra sign, Scorpio moon. I also be like, but I don't want to be the talk of the town, but I want people to know, like, you with me,
right?
I ain't gonna say it. I'm not gonna cause no scene,
right?
But you with me,
tell
baby.
People like, look, you can't hide me. You can't hide boss lady, baby. You can try, but you can't. That's because the minute they find out it's me. Right, you're gonna have a problem. They coming for you. It's been like that my whole life.
But you know what they're gonna do? Even like currently, when certain, not all, when certain women find out, like, oh, he's dating her,
right?
Or even some dudes, even some guys, oh, he got with her. Oh, well, let me try to slide up on him because I don't like her, or she thinks she's like that, or she this and that. So even now, even being older, like some people will still do that. Even guys.
I go through that every day, girl.
It's okay. You can fight. You ain't nothing.
That's why I said y'all can't kick my ass. So that's when you cuss on here.
And you be having guns.
You can look right. I be doing all kind of stuff. I do archery. I'm an archer. I don't need a gun. I will wait on you in the woods and snipe your ass.
Oh my God, that's funny. So what would you like?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Because we're having conversations, so I like to ask questions too. Like, what would you tell? Okay, what would you tell women out there that are listening or gonna listen later? Right. What would you say to them about what's your advice for if they do have a guy that is very desired, wanted? How do you think they should handle that as women?
As women, you have to learn how, and I don't like to say this word because people are like, what's peace? What is peace? What is peace? And it's something they take peace as weakness, but you have to be let's see, what worked for me coming up was to not be clingy, not be so I need you. Some guys won't like that. I
can be like that at times, though. Not all the time, but I can be kind of clingy.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I was very loyal.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. I was very loyal to who I was with. Even though it was other people around, like, bro, you don't have to worry about that. I'm not going nowhere. Right. I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay. I'm comfortable with you and everything. But I always wanted to be the one that he was, that the man was able to tell his secrets to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be his peace. Yeah. Can I say that? Yeah. Just be his peace. Yeah. But in interpreting that, like you said, let's go through this now. Interpreting, trying to be his peace, that took time. I can say that now because I'm grown. But I grew up in a house of chaos. Just like you said, during our time, it was the crack era. My mom or my dad didn't use crack. Neither one of them. I had my parents, both of my parents. But all of my friends, everybody I grew up with, it affected all of them. It, affected my family, my sisters, my brother. Both of them had crack problems and things like that. And so it was like, okay, and growing up, it was just such an intense feeling, and it was violent. You know what I'm saying? My dad would bust your head wide open, like, you be sitting there doing something, he done called your name 2 or 3 times, and next thing you know, it's something flying your way. I know you fucking heard me. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. He didn't tolerate that disrespectful stuff. He was military, Air Force. We moved around a lot. when I was a baby. Like I said, we moved from DC to South Carolina, and
that's that military life too.
That's it. Yeah, but that was after, before I was born. But he just had a militant state of mind. We ran the household like we was all in the military.
Okay.
Get up, wash the dishes, clean the house. Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My mama went to work. My daddy worked for himself. He was an entrepreneur. Yeah. He worked on cars. He drove motorcycles. Yeah. He did, mechanics and stuff. And that is where I get a lot of my knowledge of how to do things. People be saying, you do so much, something. I'm like, really, I don't. I need training. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you do know what you know.
I know now. What I know now. I know how to.
You do. You're an expert in your own right.
Yeah, now. I used to tell people, I said, I don't have no real talent. I can't sing and I can't dance, Yeah. That's all they tell us we can do is coming up. You got to be a singer, a dancer, or an athlete. That's the only thing you can do to really is a black woman or, a young black girl. You either be aspire to be a singer or a rapper. You aspire to be a dancer or something like that. But nobody said you to be a writer.
No, I grew up closer to, Alexandria is like 10 minutes outside of DC.
Right.
My mother went to Union Temple. Before Union Temple, she was at, I don't know if you're familiar with Bishop Stallings. He started the first African American Catholic Church. My mother was there. Before that, my parents were in the Nation of Islam. So my father was a Rolling Stone and he had died. But my mother's always been kind of militant black, whether it's masjid, Muslim or Christian. She got with Union Temple. That's Reverend Wilson and Mary Wilson. They're very militant. So actually, in my experience, growing up in this area, she always had us around. No. It was kind of like you could be a dancer, you could be a writer. It was so many. Those environments are very free flowing. Yeah. So they always have speaker like Minister Farrakhan used to come speak at Union Temple all the time. Yeah, it was never a big deal.
There this weekend.
Oh, okay. So no, it was kind of like the environment. I think coming up closer to the DC area for a lot of us, it was just kind of like you can do whatever you want to do because look how many examples you have.
Exactly.
So for me, it was just kind of like just finding my way. But I think so much of who we are as a kid before the world takes over is really who we are. Yes. You know what I mean? Most writers have been writing since they were little. Right. Most singers have been singing since they were little. Just how your dad was into the motorcycles, you were into motorcycles. You grew up around that. Just like he was a DJ, you speak a lot. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff is there, but people may tell you from past generations, they may say, you can only be successful as this, and that. So my degree is in social work, and I have over a decade a lived experience as a social worker. And so never wanted to work in child and family services, so I never did that. But I love social work. My mother was a social worker. I saw her growing up doing that. I'm still a social worker. I just do not practice directly in the field, but I'm still a social worker, and that'll never die.
Yes.
If you love social work, you love helping people and you love helping systems.
That was my profession I wanted to choose.
Oh, really?
Had I went to college and finished, I really wanted to be a social worker.
Right. Well, it's never too late,
43. I don't know.
Oh, police. 43. We're just getting started, baby. I'm 46. What?
43.
No. Don't let the world tell you age. Age ain't nothing but a number. Reference to the
gray hair. And
please.
Stuff I got going on.
I didn't say right now. I said, it's never too late.
You're right.
It's some 89-year-old women. They just got their degrees. Right. I didn't say right now.
Right.
Whatever you want is your desire.
Absolutely.
It can happen. It can manifest.
I did go to culinary art school though.
Because you're a foodie. That would make sense.
Right. Greedy. But that's it. Food is food. I love gourmet food. I love cuisine. I love trying different things.
Yeah.
And I did go to college for hotel and hospitality management.
Yeah.
So that's where I get my managing and marketing skills from and stuff. So I had a scholarship to Johnson and Wales for that.
My brother graduated. He's a famous chef. He graduated from, you probably know him, but he graduated from Johnson and Wales up in Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island.
Yeah.
The one in Charleston I was supposed to go to.
South Carolina. I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
they had one down there.
You ever watch Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah.
So he was the first African American to win.
Oh,
Chef
really?
Harper. Yeah,
That's
he
your
comes back
brother?
ever. Yeah, my blood brother.
Okay,
Actually,
that's all
he
right.
looks like me. In case he watches this, I'm 2 years older than him. But
That's awesome.
yeah, he comes back every season, like the other
Okay.
chefs. Yeah, he
That's
went to Las
good.
Vegas to do his, year once he won season 3.
That is all right.
He's a foodie. My sister cooks really good soul food.
Mm,
Now he's an all-around cook,
yeah.
but my sister cooks really good soul food. Oh my god! And her daughters
Don't
can
talk
cook
about
too.
it. I'm hungry right now. We're gonna wrap up too.
Yes, let's
so
wrap
I
it
want
up.
to we've been on almost an hour. How much time
Oh
we
wow!
got?
Thank you.
We have got quite a bit of time. We got some things. I wanted to just dig in this book, honey, because like I told you, I had to put it down. I said, okay.
It's a heavy book though.
It is. When I started, I was like, oh,
I wrote
is this
that.
me? You know,
the
is
night
she
or
talking
two.
about me? Is this
We were
the
homeless.
incidents
My
that
kids and I were
I had?
homeless when I wrote that.
The things I do, and I went through that as well with
Yeah.
my daughter here in
Yeah.
Washington D.C.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what
DC is
drove
like the
me.
place.
Well,
Yeah.
see, I came from Atlanta.
Yeah.
I came up here. I had nothing but a suitcase, and I was determined. I had to hit rock bottom.
That's right.
So
That's
once
right.
you hit rock bottom,
That's right.
the only way up is to
It's
the
up.
top.
That's
it's
right.
up. It's been up, and
Right.
I've been up ever since I made
Right.
that stepped out on faith.
Right.
Because what I learned in my journey was faith and fear cannot occupy the same space and time.
You can't.
You're either gonna have faith in God, or
Yeah.
you're gonna be fearful in the state and afraid, and you're gonna stay
One of
where
the
you
two.
at. Pick a side.
So
Faith
it's
and
like
fear.
this too. They say, the young people say, Cardi B has a song, and it's like, if it's up, then it's stuck.
Yeah, it's up, then it's
Listen,
up.
so
Yeah.
basically, back to what you're saying,
Yeah.
you going, once you hit that bottom, whatever that
Mhm.
bottom is for you, no matter who it is, you going up. If
That's
you want
it.
to, you either going up or you gonna stay right there.
That's
It's
it.
one or two things. You up or you just gonna stay right there.
where you at, and being in the situations that I was in.
Yeah.
I had no choice but to.
No, you had a
boss up.
choice.
You
No.
I
You
had
had a
to boss
choice.
up.
Yeah. You
I could have
chose to.
stayed and felt sorry for myself, but
Yeah.
nobody was gonna feel sorry for me. You
Right.
know, my kids needed me. My
Yeah.
father needed me.
Yeah.
You know, my story is unique. I'll tell
Yeah.
it one day. We will get to talk about
Yeah.
that. But this is about you.
No, it's about
So-
all of the women watching.
All of the women
And some of the
watching
men
this.
too.
Yes, definitely. So I got to get to these survival tips, okay?
Okay.
And confessions
Probably gonna
of a
laugh.
baby
What
mama.
I say? What
Honey,
survival
this is the
tip?
first one. It got me going. Miss Harper says, survival tips for baby mamas. Okay. He may or may not check on you and the baby. He might cuss you out. He might talk about you, or vice versa. Stand firm on whatever your decision is if it gets too stressful. Cut the cord from him temporarily. You two may need time apart to get your emotions in order. It may be 6 months apart, it may be years. Just focus on getting your mind, body, and soul right while you two are separated.
Yeah.
And honey, I had to close the book. Look. And I can just tell you that right now, because had I had this survival guide during my times with my two baby daddies, because some people got the same baby daddy, some people have multiple baby daddies. But it only took me 2 times to learn that I didn't want to do this no more. You know what I'm saying? Didn't want to go through that. And I was actually married to my daughter's husband, my daughter's father.
Yeah.
So, but you're so right. Because after my divorce, it was such a relief to just let it go and just leave him alone and don't call him no more. It was hard, but you have to do that. You got to give them
you have to choose
their
to
space.
do it.
You know, you have to choose peace. You know,
I
is
think
what I can say.
but-
you got to choose. You don't have to be right all the time.
No, and I think like
You know, let them go.
my story is, which I talk about in the book. At that time when I wrote the book, I only had 2 children.
Right.
By my second kid's dad and 1 children by my. So at this point, I had 3. Well, my youngest is 8.
Okay.
3 kids by my last kid's dad and my. So I grew up with a mom who had 4 kids by 3 different guys. Now, although she was married, it kind of stuck with me that like I felt like, oh, I didn't want to repeat that, right? So my father was a Rolling Stone baby. I mean, he died in like 84, but he rolled. When I tell you, wherever populated. No, we didn't find this out later because
So
his
you got a
family.
whole bunch of brothers
His
and
family
sisters out
wasn't
there.
praise God, and most of us are writers.
Right.
My father was a writer, which I found out later.
Mhm.
But what I've learned about my father and things that can be passed down in the genes, my father was really looking for love. And somebody else would be like, "Oh, please, that Negro looking for a place to lay his head." But I could laugh about that. My mother's not gonna think it's funny
Right.
because she was married to my father. She was really in love with our dad.
Right.
But what I look back and see, my father is one of my guardian angels now. He is dead since '84. I do not remember him. I keep his picture. I did reach out to his mom years ago. But my point is, what I've learned about my father through other people, his brothers, some of my siblings. My father, I used to hate my father for most of my life until maybe about 5 years ago. I hated him. And I would tell anybody proudly, I hated him. He's a fuck up. His bitch. I would say whatever because I have a nasty mouth when I'm angry, and I was so angry that he left me alone. And my brother, the chef, I felt like fuck him. That's what I would tell my mom. When my mother would mention him, oh, your dad loved you guys. I wouldn't say to her F him, but I would say, no, he didn't. He's a hoe. He didn't love anybody. And nice meeting you. Chris like Brown.
Yes. My security is leaving right now, so we gotta go.
Right.
We're working out.
Excuse us.
That's
I know
fine.
everybody's like, what? But
okay.
You be safe. But like, I hated my father.
Wow.
So get this
That's
for a black
words.
woman. It's strong. So he was dead, right? So I'm sure he was looking down like, I ain't even here.
Right. And
so here's what happened. Because I hated him and was carrying that, I hated a part of myself.
Right.
And when my mother would, your father used to read to y'all, and I was the only girl that we knew of at the time.
Right.
He got another daughter, and I look like my father, but she looks more like him. She's a writer too, a very successful writer. And here's what can happen that can be passed down. I think my father was just really looking for love. And I think that because he was like 6'3", he was in the Nation of Islam, he was an outcast in his family. And his family told me that. And he's unconventional. And I've learned, he had a lot of mental health problems. I didn't learn that from my mother. I learned that from talking to his brothers and his mother when she was alive. My father had a lot of mental health problems. And so what I had for him in the last 5 years is compassion. Because I have some children, teenagers that have some mental health challenges. And I was diagnosed with PTSD because I went into therapy, volunteered, and it was the best thing for me. I love it.
I love my
therapy. Matters,
Therapy matters, black people. It does.
But let me tell you what I learned.
Who it is.
It doesn't, as long as they connect to you. So because I had my own experience, I was able to see my father as not as my father, but as this black, not even just forget his color for a minute. As this man who was misunderstood, didn't understand him. He didn't understand his dad's self, damn self. And so what he did was he hopped into bed with different women.
Right.
Now,
sowing his seeds
at the time, the reason he was a Rolling Stone, what I put together is when he got in bed with these women, some of them he married, like my mom he married.
Right.
At that time, he wanted family. He wanted stability. But baby, give it 5 years, my daddy was gone. Because his mind was fragmented. Yeah. It's not like he was saying, I think I want to destroy all these women and children, and I'm in the nation, and I'm tall, and I'm a rebel. It really, so when he left my mom and got with the next woman, and then got with the next woman, he wasn't trying to hurt people, but his mind was fragmented. Right. To my knowledge, he was not on medication. His family didn't even F with him by the time he was dead. Wow. Because I think that they didn't understand him. Right. The women didn't understand it. It's not like he sat there and was like, you're talking about in the 80s and 70s. Hey, excuse me, I'm a black man with mental health problems. Nobody said that.
Right. They didn't even know what it was.
Right.
So what to call it. You know.
Right. So I think looking back, the reason my father is definitely one of my guardian angels now. And like I told my mother the other day, and she always told us to call her mother. That's why I said that. We couldn't call her mommy. But like I told her the other day, I believe that my father, one of the ways he protects me is that he tries to now do what he couldn't do in the regular world.
Yes.
Like in the spirit
Definitely.
world. Now, 5 years ago, I would have said, fuck that nigga. That's what I would have said. Excuse me. And my mother still would have been like, don't use that N word. But time will give you compassion and forgiveness. Because how can I hate someone that I am who I am? If he wouldn't have laid with my mom, married my mom, I wouldn't even be here.
Right.
But I didn't know that. I just was like, I can't believe this guy abandoned us. Peace. I can't believe this guy abandoned us. And he abandoned all these other kids. That's why I used to always say, like, he abandoned every black woman he was with. Every black woman and child. And I couldn't understand that.
Right.
I understand it now. But go ahead, what were you going to say?
I was just thinking, like, that, like I said, your story is so similar to everybody else's that, you know, most of us, our age and our generation, like, you know, my dad had other kids. You know, I'm like the only child between my mom and my dad. You know what I'm saying? That's like we are like shadow boxing now.
Yeah.
You know, so I can understand and trying to understand my father and why he was so abrasive and angry. And then, you know, like, and when I talked to my brother's mother, she lives here in DC and everything. Shout out to Faye. Hey Faye, she's my mom too. But we had a blended family, but we were all mommy, and you know what I'm saying. You're my mom. That's my mama. That's your daddy. But still, they were my mom and dad together. You understand? So you don't understand. I'm on the podcast,
but I'm listening. Okay. Keep going.
But you know what I'm saying. So it just I struggled with that. The decisions my mother made to stay. Because she always put that on me. I wanted you to have a father. This one didn't have a father. That one's father died. You know, my sister's father died. Not my sister, my brother's father died. When he was a baby, so he didn't really girl fly. So, you know, he didn't have that you know, that father in his life. And my sister, she was raised by her father. My mama had her when she was like 15. So it was just like I was the test baby. You know what I'm saying? But I was the only child between them two. And I always felt some kind of way about the way my other brothers and sisters treated me. You know what I mean? Because they were jealous. Yeah. And they were older than me.
They didn't know.
But they were 10. My sister was 10 years older than me. My brother was 5 years old.
It's like this.
They hated me.
What they really hated was, well, they probably showed it to you too. Yeah. But here's what they really felt. Like looking back. They felt like, she's so lucky. She got both of them, and she's this, and that. She has this. They felt like you had something they didn't. So that can turn into jealousy if you don't check yourself.
Yes.
I don't care who you are. It doesn't make you a bad person. If we don't check ourselves, it can turn into jealousy and rivalry with siblings if we don't check ourselves. But it's really because you think that sibling has something that you don't have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like here's an example, like in my family. Because I was like the quiet one. There were 3 of us that grew up together, 2 years apart. My other brother came later, much later. So he grew up, but the 3 of us became teenagers together, everything. I was the one who really didn't get in trouble.
Right.
My siblings have some type, like I can count on one hand how many beatings I've gotten in my life from my mom, and it's not even a full hand.
Right.
And my relatives didn't. It was never like, oh, Nisa, sit down. I was already seated. Now my siblings, now I'm not saying in a bad way, but they have different experiences than I have because our personalities were different. I was the quiet one. They said, Nisa, go do this. Nisa, go sit in the corner. I'm going to sit in the corner.
I'm going to sit down and
I didn't mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if siblings do not check their own childhood wounds, it can come out against a brother and sister. And they might not even mean it.
Right.
They might think like, oh, why does this one always get attention? Why does this one, she never got in trouble, or he never got in trouble? Oh.
It's okay.
So I think like, it probably, you know, sometimes I can turn to hate too if people don't check
it did. It, you know, and that's one thing I can't say, like, with me and my sister.
Yeah.
we have a very scorned relationship. My sister that lives here in DC,
Mhm.
but I loved her. I
Oh
love her so
yeah,
much. She's 10 years older than me.
yeah,
She's 53, I'm 43.
yeah.
And I just, I just wanted her in my life so bad. But she
Oh
was already grown,
yeah,
pretty much and doing her own thing
yeah,
when I was coming up as a teenager,
yeah.
But I didn't realize how much resentment she had for my mother
Right.
and not being in my mother's, custody or in her care as a young person. And
Why she get to
trying
stay
to
with
tell, yeah,
mommy?
why you
Why
get a
you
mommy
must
and
be
a
more
daddy, and I
special
gotta
than
be
me? Uh huh.
out here
Uh huh.
like fending for myself,
Hmm.
at such a young age.
So I'm gonna take
Cause
the anger on you
yeah,
instead
oh,
of.
she did.
No, no, no.
Trust
I'm
me.
just saying. But if you really think about the mindset, it's like, well, I'm gonna take the anger on my sibling instead of really exploring why my parents chose this for me.
Right.
So I'm gonna put it on you because you actually would be an easier target than really
Right.
getting to maybe my mom couldn't take care of me at the time.
Right.
Maybe
she was a child herself
right.
at the time, and
And
she
you
made
talking about
some
back in
bad
the day,
mistakes.
15.
Right.
They said go tell them that's your aunt, and you go you know what I'm
and
saying?
you go on.
Yeah,
Do
yeah. That ain't your baby now. You ain't
Yeah.
because it was considered shame.
Yes, definitely.
And shame on the
And
family.
then it was generational. It was a generational curse. We didn't
Yeah.
talk about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of us have generational curses that
Many
we
of
were
us.
dealing with, and we didn't know what to call it. It's like
It was
my
called
mama
sweeping
didn't
under the
raise
rug.
me, so
You
I
hear
ain't
me?
gonna sit here and raise my
You hear
kids.
me?
My mama gave me away, so I'm gonna give y'all
Did you
away.
hear me?
Yeah.
It was called sweeping under the rug.
Sweeping under the rug. That's what
We
they
ain't gonna
call
talk
it.
about that. Y'all
Yeah.
go in the back room. We
Y'all
talking
go back
grown
there.
folks stuff.
Exactly. We not
Yeah,
gonna give
my daddy is my uncle.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
That's it.
She just gonna have that baby. She gonna go away for a little bit, and then she gonna come back and finish high school.
That's it. Right, because my mama was in high school when pregnant with my daughter.
Yeah.
They sent at that time in DC. They had a school for pregnant girls.
Yeah.
And she went there, and she had my sister and everything like that. She explained it all to me. My mama had got on drugs during that time. Like I said, and most of us is what we saying as adults, and I can feel my mama's spirit with me. Thank you, Lord. But she had to be transparent and honest and say, look, I had a problem. I had an addiction. I could not take care of you. But at one point she had, when she met my father, he got off drugs. He told her straight up, you gonna quit this shit today. That's it. This is the last time. You're not gonna be around me. That's it. He was zero tolerance for anything like that. And I didn't know my mom had a drug addiction until I got grown, and we talked about it and things like that. And she said that if it wouldn't have been for your dad, that's why she stayed through abuse and mental and emotional abuse. Yeah, she owed it to him and to me to have a father in my life. He might not have been the best dad in the world, but he was my daddy, and she wanted me to have that. So she made her own sacrifices.
She did, and I think you know what. I know you said we had to wrap it up, so I would say this. This is my last thing to say. I would say that for any woman or man who's watching, that you could be like,
hey, Tasha,
any age, any just any age. You could live in any city, and I think I would encourage people to forgive our parents. I had to learn to do that. Definitely. And it's not no overnight. Oh, I forgive you. So that's what I'm not gonna go deep into it. But the church sometimes will give you the impression that if you just say forgive, it'll go away. Let me tell you something, baby. It don't work like that. So to forgive our parents for being human, to forgive our parents for having addictions. Some have love addictions. To forgive our parents for sometimes not paying attention to us because they were wrapped up in their own stuff. And then to forgive ourselves for the choices that we made, even the choices that we're making. And it's like, so just forgiveness. And I wasn't like that. I was the type of person who was very proud that I could carry a grudge. And I could carry it. Like if I can't have a grudge,
you sound like me.
I'm gonna say like I don't we might be. I'm the type of person, I was the type of person, and I'm talking about recent. Right. I was the type of person, real recent, that would be like, I don't care if your grandmother died. I wouldn't say it to him, but I'd be thinking it. And that's negative too, because that can happen. Our thoughts are powerful. But I would just say that I'm in a season of abundance. I'm definitely in a season of abundance. I'm in a season of forgiveness. and I do it so quickly. And I never was like that. Never wanted to be like that. When people would tell me, Nisa, you should forgive, I'd be like, shut up. And I would probably tell some of them that, including my mom, like, why I'm telling shut up? I'm saying, I don't really want to hear that. Listen, that ain't for me. And people usually don't think that because I'm a kind person, but I'm only saying that to say and sharing that, like, I'm an all or nothing person. I'm not a middle ground person. I'm not a great person. I'm either super in love or I'm not in love. I'm either super kind.
You're not lukewarm.
I don't like you.
You on fire, or you just like, bruh.
Maybe I'm on fire, or you ain't gonna see me for 6 months, and I'd be like, I was isolating. But my point is, the last thing to say is that, I think if more of us practice forgiveness and learn the art of forgiveness, forgiving ourselves, and understanding we don't have to be perfect. You're like, you know what I mean? We're going to mess up. We're going to mess up with our kids. We're going to mess up if we're married. We're going to mess up in relationships. We're going to hurt our kids sometimes. I'm not talking about physical. We're going to do things that are selfish sometimes. Forgive yourself. When your kids act up against you, forgive them. Definitely. Like, just forgiveness. Forgive your parents for fucking up at times when you was growing up, because they did. Yes. And forgive ourselves for fucking up with our kids at times. So it's just like about forgiveness, and we'll be freed from a lot of stuff with that, and like taking time for yourself. That's all I really want to. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to, just wrap everything up. I just have enjoyed you.
Yeah, it was cool.
Come on, and the next time if you want to come in the studio or get on the StreamYard, we can do it from home. It doesn't matter. But I'm glad you wanted to come in studio.
I did.
And so she actually forced me into this, because I was like, oh, well, you don't have to come. She was like, no, I want to come, and I want to be in the studio. I want to feel it.
Yeah,
I want to share, I want to see, and support. And I thank you so much for supporting this platform on the Black Business Matters and the Boss Up podcast. That's what I was trying to
Anybody who's watching the Black Business podcast, right?
Yes, Black Business
Anybody who's
Matters.
watching, if you feel led to sow a seed, sow a seed. It could be $1, it could be $100.
Yes.
Do what you do.
Do what you do.
It will be returned back to you.
Support Black media.
Absolutely.
We need this. We need these type of stories. We need these platforms.
We have them.
We have
to utilize them.
That's
and
right.
financially contribute to them.
Absolutely.
It's cool to talk about it. Yeah.
And that's all I ask sometimes. I'm like, I was willing to do a 30-minute podcast for free. You know what I mean? She was like, oh no, Yeah. I was like, well, I'm not trying to charge. It was like, no, dear. I'm going to sow a seed into you. I know you got stuff going on.
Well, even if you didn't have, even if you were already what you are, a millionaire, right?
Yes,
it's not. It's more so like what you give out will be returned, and it's not going to necessarily be returned. Oh, look, the person has my name. It's not going to be returned all the time from the exact same person. It's the cycle of life. It's 360. Everything is 360. So it's more so like supporting you supports myself. You see what I'm saying? It's not, you know what I mean? But
promoting yourself.
Yeah, but the world will teach you, see what they're going to give you first. The world will teach you, get from them. Especially
get what you can
from them before you give anything.
Yeah, work them real good over.
And that should have had you, that'll have you broke, depressed, and sad. It's not gonna show up right away, but that don't recycle.
No, it does not recycle.
It's a dead end with that concept.
And I've never been that type of person. I've never been a user, but I've been used by many people just off of the fact that I'm open,
right? But that season of user is over, so we ain't even gonna speak about that because that's over. That's over. You got people that want to be in on your show, and I'm speaking that right now. If I'm seeing this interview, they're gonna say, I want to be on, sis. How much I gotta pay you? They're gonna hit that inbox.
Come on and hit that inbox and get on that Black Power Hour, sow a seed into this platform. Come in studio, or I can send you the link. You can come in. Tell your story, you come in and share your products. We support all small and large Black business owners. I've had quite a few famous people on the Black Power Hour and coming into our platform just to share their story and launch and give us the support that we need and just just do what you do what you're good at. If you can't sing, you can't dance, but you know how to talk, and that's your talent.
That's right.
If you know how to network, if you know how to build, if you
Mm-hmm.
know how to put people in the room together, that's one thing I've always been really good at, is putting the right people in the room together. So that's what Black Business is about. Black Business Matters is about, is putting the right people in the right rooms together and building up a platform for us.
That's right.
Because you can turn the TV on and be advertised all day long and never even know that we are out here and we exist. Black authors matter.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I was going to say. That's Black authors matter. And you need to know that you can be something other than an athlete.
Yeah.
Or, what they tell us to do. Go to school, get a job. What about create a job that you love and do something that you love and you're passionate about, and you'll never have to work again a day in your life.
Yeah.
That's our motto here at Black Business Matters. We're not whining, we grinding.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
that's it. We're grinding.
That sounds like something on a t-shirt. I like that.
That's it. We're going to make those t-shirts.
We're not whining, we grind.
That's it. We're not whining, we grinding. We're going to stay on the forefront. This is the Black Power Hour. You got any closing statements you want to make? How can we contact you? And how many books did you have? You only
like
let
10.
me talk about.
I have like 10, but I also help other people put their books together.
She has
That's
books.
me.
That's her. I love this picture. I'm trying to put on a button, y'all. Okay, that's my little.
We gonna do t-shirts.
Now this one, we didn't get. We're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to do a Zoom about this book right here. Because I didn't get to read it. The card said it's really good.
He said it's good.
This book right here is about gentrification in 3020. It's a science fiction, like almost book, right? Or fiction.
It's alternative. It's futuristic. Like spaceships. But here's the key thing. Black people, we getting our reparations, baby. That's what that book is.
Okay.
But that's all. I'm on Amazon or Facebook. It's not hard. Once they look on your page, it's not hard.
Like I said, we're streaming on 3 different platforms right now. So you are out there.
And I'm in New York City. Yeah. According to this, I'm in New York. I love New York. If anybody knows it, I love New York.
I love New York too. That was another reason why I wanted to come to DC. I was like, we only 4 hours from New York City, baby. I'm gone.
That energy is like DC. That energy is so loud.
Is another one of her books, if you check it out.
Oh yeah, that's about my college experiences.
City State University. Oh girl, I can't
it's
wait.
Good though. That one's good enough for even like teenage girls or guys. That one. Yeah,
definitely. Well, we definitely look forward to having you on again. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your girl talk and tea time, honey. We had tea. We sipped on some nice.
Oh yeah, the tea was good.
Tea. The card makes the tea for us. He keeps me healthy, get me back in shape.
Hey,
I had a hard.
Oh, was it detox tea?
Yeah.
Whoa. You ain't tell me that. So we got South Carolina by way of Philly, by way of DC. We got Alexandria by way of California, by way of Virginia, DC, Virginia. Look at that.
Yeah,
look at the
all
connections.
Connections, all that. You never know, like you said, you never know who you might meet
Yeah.
on the path of life. She came to me and saw what I was doing and saw me in the.
You guys came through my neighborhood that time.
We did.
I actually met your boyfriend, fiance. I mean, excuse me, not boyfriend, fiance. Actually, and I said, "Are you guys coming back?" And he was like, "Yeah, we'll be back." And I remember seeing you in the street.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like you did something like this.
Yeah.
You guys came through the neighborhood. You all were passing out flyers.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought, like, you just don't really think about it. I never thought it was like a whole show and all the other stuff. You never think about that.
Oh yeah, platform definitely. My platform is open definitely for the people of Washington D.C.
You gotta pay her though.
That's right. That's what she said.
Money make the world go round, baby.
It does. Right now with the defense fund, we definitely need that. We definitely need that support.
Yes.
So if you want to devise a plan to come over, if you have something going on in the fundraising,
amen.
Anything, community support, charity work. Right now, we have so much violence going on in Washington, D.C. If you are a violence interrupter, if you just want to come on and just say, look, we need help. We need advocacy. We need somebody to come into these neighborhoods. We need to organize with the people in the neighborhoods. That's one thing that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Is I am organizing in Southeast Washington, D.C. The plan is for us to go to each ward and set up a chapter of the Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go in these places. We're going to deputize people, and we're going to talk to them, seriously talk to them, not just walk through the neighborhood and say Black Power or things like that. We have to really get to the grassroots and the meet and greens of what matters to us in our own communities, okay? I'm the community program developer now on a national level. So I've got to get with people like Sister Nisa. She's also a advocate.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Well,
you ain't
real
gotta
quick,
go nowhere
real quick. So my advocacy stretches over a decade, and it deals specifically housing advocacy, primarily public housing and with slumlords and things like that. And I love it. I don't like it. I'm not forced to do it. I love it. So I'm the type of person that will sit there and read like documents for hours and then train other people. Done that on how to approach different people and how to go to housing meetings for people. Most of the time I will not publicize that. Most of the time I will not take pictures of that. And special needs advocacy, definitely with mental health and domestic violence prevention. I'm a domestic violence survivor. I'm a rape survivor. I talked about it in my book. I'm not embarrassed about it. I mentioned that 1 in 5 Black women are survivors of sexual assault. And it's a deeper problem in our community.
Oh, wow.
But those are my areas of expertise. And those are things that I love to talk about.
Well, I need to put you on a podcast with Sister Pamela Smith.
I saw your
thing with Pam. Yeah, and then she's a victim's advocate. She was raped and abused by a government official in a work release program. So she fights for inmates' rights. She fights for rape victims and things like that. So this is just, this is a full circle thing, and we have a big event with her in Tulsa, Oklahoma, on September the 3rd.
I think I saw it on your
flyer
page.
out there. Yeah, we will, but we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna definitely come back again. Like I said, anytime if you get a book release, if you want to do a book signing, I just did a book signing for her Saturday.
Oh, that's what you were doing.
Yeah,
I saw some of the pictures on your page. I didn't. Okay.
We did a book signing at the Black Lives Matter Plaza, even though they dug it up.
I saw some of your pictures. I didn't see a book. Okay.
No, we didn't.
What's the name of her
passed
book?
out her. This right here. Let me give it to you. I try to be prepared somewhat. Okay, this is the name of her
Begging
book.
for Justice.
Yes, Begging for Justice.
Okay.
This is a story about silent coalition.
The Silent Coalition. Yep, I definitely saw her face and name on your page. I saw those pictures.
It's on Amazon, Kindle, and Prime. It's called Begging for Justice: The Silent Coalition by Pamela Smith as well. So I'm going to link you up with Miss Pam. She actually called me while we were on here and everything, to talk. But she's a beautiful person. Her story is tragic, but it's a beautiful ending. And I just, she changed my life. I can tell you that. By her, and I haven't even read her book, but I heard her story by her being so transparent and being honest about her feelings and been fighting. This lady has been fighting for 24 years to get her case before heard out fairly in the court. The statute of limitations will run out, and she will refile again. You know what I'm saying? She's kept fighting. She's a warrior. She's a warrior queen. This is also hers right here. I was going to show you this after the show, but just to talk about her right here. This is Miss Pamela Smith.
Okay. I didn't see those on the thing, but I saw your pictures on your page. If anyone goes to your page, they're going to see
it.
Yeah.
So what, in anybody that wants to reach Miss Nisa can reach you how and where?
They can they can go on your page. Okay. You know what I mean? Sometimes people forget the names. Yeah, they can just go on your page. I'm on Amazon, but they can go on your page and they'll be able to
it's Nisa Harper on Amazon, right?
Yep.
Nisa Harper. Yes.
That's 10 books. Yes. That's formerly homeless with children. That is I'm just full of life.
So
that's
full
all.
of life. I love it.
Thank you.
She has really brightened up my life today. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I look forward to building with you, building up this platform, and we're gonna show you a little something right here that we got set
The
up.
Southeast Housewives.
So these are her books, and let me go right here. Okay, and we want to show y'all a little This is your extra, not your intro.
Thank you. Did you ever watch the show Girlfriends? That first cover reminds me of Jill Marie Jones. You remember the darker girlfriend that was kind of like bougie?
Yeah.
She reminded me of her.
Okay.
Now that one's coming.
Okay.
That's gonna be my raunchiest book ever. Oh, it's gonna be raunchy for sure.
I cannot wait to read.
I can't either.
I can't wait to write it. Okay.
That's the one who did the pop up.
Okay.
Camille. Yeah.
Camille. Yeah, I told her you were coming. All right. We didn't want to have to do no using nobody else's music and they mute my whole life.
So he has a book too. 3 of my kids have books.
Oh, that's all right. Young. So we should do a book fair. We should do. We host pop ups for small business owners.
They are so not interested in those books anymore.
Right.
But the 8-year-old is River Phoenix.
Oh,
Black Girl
wow.
TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to get started. Black Girl. You know how they have TV One, Black Girl TV. That's
so
what
you
it
would be
is.
an awesome host. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't want to host it. I want to hire.
You want to hire
women to host it? No.
Okay.
I would own it. No, I'm writing checks. I want to own it. Is it still taping?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Look, that's it. We're gone, y'all.
Like that. No, I don't want to own it. I'm gonna put other people on.